What's up, guys? It's Chase from Chase's Workshop, and in this video we're going to be building a treble bleed circuit. If you don't know what a treble bleed circuit is, it's basically one of these little guys right here. It is a 0.001 UF capacitor and a 150k ohm resistor wired in parallel. Basically what this guy does is that when you're playing your guitar and you've got your volume cut all the way up and you've got your tone where you like it, a lot of times when you start decreasing your volume, you start losing a lot of the integrity of the signal. You start losing a lot of the high end and the signal kind of gets muddy. This helps prevent that. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to make one of these. Like I said, it's very simple. We're going to plug it into my Telecaster B-Bender guitar, and I'm going to make it to where I can plug it into the circuit, take it out of the circuit, and we can kind of get an idea of what this thing's doing to the signal. So guys, you can buy these parts from anywhere, but I am going to be selling these on my website if you want to buy one from me. I'm going to sell it as a kit to where you can build it yourself, and I'm also going to be selling it to where I'm hand make it for you and send it to you. And just know that if you buy from me, you're helping support this channel and you're helping me continue to do the things that I'm doing right now, which is making videos for you guys. And I would really appreciate it a lot. So if you want to buy one from me, go down in the description, cwkshop.com. There's a link down there. You can click on it. It'll take you to where these guys are for sale at. So guys, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. If you like the video, give me a like. If you like it, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. Well, all right. So here I've got the extra parts we need to build this guy. I've got the capacitor. Orange Drop Capacitor. It is a CDE225P 100 volts capacitor, Orange Drop. And I've got a 150k ohm resistor. Very simple. All I'm going to do is just take this guy and just wrap these posts right here and wire this thing in parallel with it. I'm just going to hold it right there where I want it. Wrap this side. Maybe get a couple wraps on it, or maybe get just one wrap to get it aligned. And I'm going to wrap the other side. I'm just going to start slowly being as uniform as I can to make it look decent. Now I can do the other side here. I'm just going to pull it tight and just start wrapping. So there we go. Now I want to start this guy up. Very easy. I found that if you find something to put it in, I've been using one of these guys here just to kind of hold it up straight. I always wanted one of those little soldering holders. I'm going to bend this guy back where you can see what I'm doing here. This is pretty straightforward. I'm just going to solder these two sides right here. So remember when you're soldering to wet your tip. It helps get the heat transfer onto everything a lot better. Heat it up good. Same thing on the other side. Trying to do this where you guys can see it. Switch to my left hand. Let's hold it on there for a minute. Let it heat up. There we go. Done. Cut me some heat shrink tubing. I'm just going to put it right over that connection there. And then right over that connection there. Oop, I got a big daub on the back here I need to get rid of. There's that. Now I've got my heat gun. It's just kind of my most favorite part of this whole ordeal. And I'm going to just take it and shrink her down. And there we go. We've got our treble bleed circuit. So now what I want to do is I want to take this guy and we're going to put it into my Telecaster guitar and get it some sounds on it. I might try to find a switch to where I can switch this thing in and out the circuit. That way we get a better idea of what it's actually doing to the tone and the volume. Alright, so you can see here I've got my Telecaster torn apart here. I've got my control plate. I basically just flipped it back into the hole there. Now, one thing I'm wanting to do here for testing purposes, but I also think it would be good for you if you're wanting to install one of these into your guitar is to tap a little hole right here and put a little selector switch. That way, you know, a lot of times you might want that muddy sound that a volume knob gives you when you cut your volume down. And if you do, you could switch this in and out of circuit. Now, I don't have a small switch, so I'm going to use one that I've reclaimed out of an old amp, and I'm basically going to wire this in to where we can cut this thing on, cut it off, and you can tell, give you an idea of the difference in the sound of them. But like I said, if you want to install one of these, I would suggest to, if you want to install a switch that will basically do what I'm doing here, but would actually be where you could access it from the middle here or somewhere. Well, anyways, with that being said, the only thing we got to go through here, I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so this is my volume knob right here. Basically, this guy is going to wire in on these two right here. This is our wire coming from our pickup selector. And then this is actually going to our output on our, it's going straight to our 1/4" jack right here. And we're just going to solder this in between here. But I'm going to actually put a switch between it to where I can cut this guy on and off. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to solder this in here. And then I'm going to solder this to this like that. I'm not going to film this because I think it's going to take me a little while to get all this stuff situated to where I want it. That way I can get all this stuff in here and get it back together and have this switch out where you can see it. But when you look at your own, just see where your selector comes from your, look where your wire comes from your selector, from your pickup selector. This guy right here, if I can see this black wire coming down, and it's going to this first terminal right here on our volume pot. And then it goes to that one, so it goes between those two. This one goes to our jack, 1/4" jack. It's going to go in between those two. Okay, so now you can see, basically all I've done is I've taken this guy. I want to see if I can flip it around where you can see it. I wired this first one down here into one side of the capacitor from the number 1 pin right there on our potentiometer. It comes off of that, goes through this switch right here that I got on here, and then it goes back to the middle one right there. And that's all I've done. Now, like I said, I've modified this thing just so I can test it. But I think it'd be a good idea too that if you wanted to have more versatility with your the circuit, you can add a little switch and be able to switch this thing on and off. So I'm going to try to get this thing back in here to where we can at least plug it up and play it and see what it sounds like. So there we go. I've got the switch here, and I've got the bleed circuit in. I've got my volume up. I've got my tone up. And we're going to play around with it and see what it sounds like. Okay, so what I've got here set up, I've got the Telecaster guitar, got the little switch down here. I'm in the off position right now. There's not any change at all when you have this thing on high volume and you're playing. So if I cut it all the way up, it's basically just switching in and out. There's not any change at all whatsoever. Now, I will apologize now. I've apparently got something other going on in my shop where I have a wicked hum that I can't stand, but it's driving me nuts. I think it's a bad cable. But anyways, so if you can bear with me on that. Now, what I want to do is I want to go about. I'm going to turn the tone, the volume knob up. Maybe if that's off, I'm going to about right there with it, so you can hear it now. The actual bleed circuit is off, so we're on the neck. I'm gonna go to the bridge pickup. that's off. I'm gonna cut it on now. Off. On. And one thing I've noticed is that it actually boosts the gain on the signal. So and if you think about it, you're passing more highs through the lower volume, so it is boosting the volume of it. So that's one thing you got to consider on there, which it also keeps a lot of the tone in there with it too, because if you just turn the volume knob up to the same gain as what the circuit's doing, it doesn't sound as good. It still sounds kind of muddy. Now I'm saying the reason I want to talk about putting a switch on this, guys, is because you might like that muddier sound that you get, and you don't want that. That's with it on, with it off. Off. On. So there you go. I mean, it's got a good sound. Now, what I want to do now is I want to flip it up to a, and this is where I think this actual mod kind of shines the most, is on the neck pickup. I've got it off right now. I'm going to cut the volume about where we had it. So that's with it off. Now I'm gonna cut it on. So there it is, the neck pickup. Just with it off. With it on. Cut it back on now. So as you can tell, it does add a lot of tone back into the guitar at a lower volume. Also too, it boosts the signal. So as you can tell, with it right there, it's on, and that's it. I'm just going to switch to switch. It adds that in there. Now if I increase the volume up to about that loudness without the switch engaged, you can hear that a lot of those tones are gone. So I'm going to cut it back on and cut this back down. So it is adding a lot of the highs back into it, and it's de-muddying, I guess is the word I'm looking for, the actual tone. So I think it sounds really well. I think it sounds good. Like I said about the switch, you might want to add a switch in there like I did here, but one that you can actually put down here where you can flick this thing on and off. You might like that muddy sound in the song that you're playing. You might like that. And you want to add in that little extra boost. So there you go. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. And like I said, if you want to build one of these guys, very simple to do. You can find the parts just about anywhere. Also, too, though, if you want to buy one from me, just go to my website in the description down below. And I'm also going to put a link to my eBay store where if you want to buy one from eBay, if you're an eBayer. A lot of times that's just easier to do, and people would rather do that. But just as a reminder, if you do that, you do help me out, and you help this channel, and help me continue what I'm doing here, and what I really enjoy to do, and I'd really appreciate it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave me a link below, send me an email, however you want to get in touch with me. If you like the video, give me a like, and if you like it, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys.